Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires BeliefCast. Thank you once again for tuning in, and as always, thank you for believing in me and this cause and sharing these episodes and for following and liking. And it's amazing the feedback we're getting, and it's because of you and your support. So I can't thank you enough. I do need to give a shout out to our sponsors. We have Thread Wallets, we have Maury Nutrition, Wasatch Recovery, and Siegfried Jensen. Thank you so much for supporting me and believing in my vision in this. It really means a lot, and you guys make it possible, so thank you. And as always, guys, I bring on these amazing people, and today's going to be no different. Today we are joined by April Baker. April, thanks for being here.
Todd, I can't appreciate it any more than I already am right now. And it's rare that I'm on this side of the microphone.
Yes.
I'm usually asking the questions, and I'm so glad that you're doing the hard work today.
Yeah, and we're both a little nervous for different reasons.
Yes.
Because you are on TV all the time, and I'm, I should be the one, getting interviewed by you at times, but no, I'm just grateful to have you here, and I'm going to give a little background on April, you guys. She's an anchor and reports for Fox 13 Good Day Utah morning newscast. You're there really early, right? How early do you start?
Well, I wake up at 2 a.m., so I've been up since then. So anything that I say that's bad, I'm going to blame it on that. Yes, the early wake-up call. So I have to be into work by 3:30 in the morning. Wow.
See, I'm up at 4:30, and I thought that was early, but you got me beat. 2 a.m. That's no joke.
Are you an early morning worker-outer?
Yeah. Yep,
Awesome.
Love working out in the morning. So you have worked as a journalist in 5 different states over the last 11 years. In that time, April has covered several high-profile news stories, including the 2015 anti-black mass church shooting in Charleston, South Carolina. April hails from Massachusetts. I want to talk a lot about that as well, where you earned your master's degree in broadcast journalism from Emerson College in Boston. During her adolescent and teenage years, April spent most of her spare time involved in competitive figure skating. I want to talk about that as well, and teaching kids how to skate. When she's not working, she's championing female empowerment through her volunteer work with nonprofit Women of Worth Utah. April's also passionate about fitness and stand-up comedy.
Yes.
So do you actually do comedy, or are you just like watching it?
I like watching.
Okay.
But I mean, I could maybe tell a joke or something, but it might go over like a lead balloon. So I'm worried about this, Todd.
Yeah.
But I love stand-up comedy. I listen to podcasts that feature different comedians.
Okay.
And I actually,
do you have a favorite?
I do. I listen to Bill Burr, who also hails from Boston.
Yeah.
And he's from my alma mater. He's from Emerson College.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So he's kind of crusty.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. He swears.
He's hilarious.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. I've never met him before. I've actually met one of his best friends who used to tour with him.
Okay.
And so that's trying to sneak in there and maybe meet him at some point in my life. So,
Bill Burr. Yeah. I think I'm going to say this wrong. Is it Nate Bargatze?
That sounds correct to me.
Maybe I said it. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but man, he's hilarious. I love watching him, and I'm the same way. I love going to comedy shows and things like that. It's the best.
It's great.
Yeah.
It takes you to a completely different place. And when I start my mornings, I actually like listening to podcasts that have levity to them. Sure. Because waking up at that hour can be a little bit draining.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I listen to them, and I also do some stretches as well. So, you're getting your body warmed up and your mind warmed up. So you're in a good place when you start the newscast. Yeah. So you're just upbeat. Yeah. Right on.
Well, why don't we share with our listeners a little bit about your childhood and talk about where you grew up?
Okay. I grew up in Swampscott, Massachusetts. Swampscott.
Wow.
Not the prettiest name, right?
Right.
It sounds swampy, and you think of like weird creatures coming out of the brush. But it's a coastal town north of Boston, about 15 minutes north. And my parents still live north of Boston in a different community, a little bit closer to Gloucester or Salem. I don't have the accent either. I'm not sure how that happened, but neither of my parents have the Boston accent, that thick. I was going to say, how you doing? But that's more New York.
That's New York, yeah.
But so I grew up in Boston, and I lived there for 26 years. I went to college there. I went to 5 different colleges, which is another story too.
Yeah, wow.
I guess I'm indecisive.
Sure, yeah.
Because I started off in biology before I went into journalism. So
biology's no joke. I tried. I think I tried biology classes, and I would always drop out because I was like, I'm lost. Yeah.
Same. I was lost. I enjoyed it, but then, the test came back and it was a 40 or a 45. And I'm like, maybe this is not really the path I should be taking. So I went to different colleges in Massachusetts, and I told my parents, I don't think I'm ever going to get out of Massachusetts. I've always aspired to move, and I thought I was going to be stuck. But until I found journalism and developed a very strong passion for it, that it took me to different places, to the 5 different states that you mentioned, including Utah.
Yeah, wow. So do you have brothers and sisters?
I don't.
Okay.
I am an only child.
Only child, okay.
Yeah, it's a very close-knit family.
Yeah, I bet.
I talk to my mom multiple times a day. She probably gets annoyed with me, but I try to stay connected to her.
No, that's awesome. That's pretty rare, right? You're someone who's an only child. How was that? Was that something that you just didn't know any different and it was like no big deal? Or was there times where you're like, man, I wish I had a sister or a brother or anything like that?
Yes, I wish I did have an older brother, but probably because he could bring his hotter friends over,
right, yeah.
assuming that they would be hot. But, I just, I do feel like that sibling rivalry or having that bond with somebody else other than my parents would have been beneficial to me, because I was and still am very dependent on my parents, and they're a lot older than me. Yeah. And I feel like that would have helped to have a sibling that was closer to my age to be able to maybe commiserate with or to fight with, whatever you siblings do. Yeah. I'm not sure. So
gotcha. So talk about your parents. Like what kind of parenting style did they have, and kind of maybe some of the lessons you've learned from them when you were younger?
That's a very good question. My dad was a helicopter parent.
Okay.
He definitely watched over me, very protective. I would say I was spoiled, certainly by him.
Yeah.
My mom would say, Bob, that's my dad's name, stop it. You're not doing her any favors by doing things for her, which is true. So I feel like I felt very loved and very cared about, but also at the same time, I need to learn to do things for myself, because ultimately I'm going to be on my own and living independently. So I feel like I'm still trying to play catch up a little bit with things that maybe I would have learned about if my dad wasn't so nurturing and loving.
Yeah.
Darn it, Dad, stop,
Right. Yeah.
too loving. And my mom was more, she's an environmental analyst, and she's very analytical. And she pushed me, and I've always been looking for her validation. I admire her tremendously, and I just feel like she was a tougher nut to crack and get to know. But actually, the roles have reversed now. My mom and I are closer.
Okay.
Because my dad suffers with debilitating mental illness.
Okay.
To the point where he, when it gets really bad, he can't eat on his own. My mom has to essentially act as a caretaker for him. So it's been difficult to adjust to that almost role reversal, not role reversal per se, but just to have that really close bond with my mom and not so much with my dad, because my dad was always my hero and I would always be talking to him. So I hardly talk to him now because he's not the most social, but that's not the dad that I knew for 28 years.
Yeah, I'm sure that's hard to witness that, but thankfully that, it's funny how, not funny, probably the wrong word, but how something that's really difficult, there's a good thing that also still comes out of it, like you and your mom getting closer because of it.
Yes.
Whereas maybe you weren't as close before, but it still doesn't make it easy watching dad struggle like that, right?
It doesn't. And I was upset at him for a while because sometimes with mental illness, you can't see it. It's invisible. A lot of times he looks normal and he looks like the dad I know, maybe a little bit slimmer, but you just don't know the pain, the anguish that they might be going through. He doesn't talk about it. He's all walled up. So, I was upset at him for such a long time, and it has taken me a while to forgive him and to understand that he didn't want this for himself. After he retired, this is not the life he envisioned. So I try to be more patient with him and be more understanding, because it doesn't serve anybody to get upset.
Sure. Well, as you know, we mentioned that you were in competitive figure skating.
Yes.
Did that start as a really young age?
Well, yes. If you consider 10 years old pretty young.
I think so.
Yes.
For something like that, I mean, I've skated before and I can't even stand up.
Well, I can maybe give you a few pointers too. I haven't
might
been on
need
the ice. I started going round and round on the ice rink with my mom at the age of 4. And then there was a figure skating camp that I wanted to attend at the age of 10. Okay. And I needed a figure skating coach to be able to attend that camp. So once I got that coach, once I learned more about the sport, I was hooked. And then I started taking it more seriously, to the point where I was competing and ultimately investing 6 days a week, several hours a day, multiple coaches, 4 coaches at one point for the sport. And Mom, I didn't make it to the Olympics. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Was that a goal? Is that part of what you were thinking? Or
I think I was more pragmatic, more realistic about it, but I still wanted maybe nationals or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
I definitely aspired to do big things. And, I did make it regionally. I won a few competitions. I lost a lot of competitions, but you keep trying.
Yeah.
And I taught figure skating to young kids, and that was very rewarding as well.
I bet it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I can imagine, any sport that someone excels at you learn so many lessons from it. It's not just learning to do a triple spin, or I don't even know what you call them, but you know what I mean? Like all the stuff and all the skills you have to learn. But what were some of the things you gained from that maybe even helps you today from being in that competitive figure skating?
That's a great question, Todd. Wait, you must do this a lot, right?
A few times, yeah.
Trying to buy myself some time now. So persistence, and I mean, there are a lot of times when you fall and you're frustrated with not perfecting or getting that particular skill that you want, but you keep trying and trying over again. And I feel like in the news business, there's been so many times that I've failed that, it would be easy to stop, but you continue onward. So I think skating helped me to develop this discipline, being able to work hard at it every single day. Every day is a new day. And, failure is temporary. You can always be successful the next day. And I think it definitely gave me a good work ethic.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
I carry that with me through the news.
Yeah.
It also made me a little bit of a perfectionist too, which is not always the best.
Not always good, but
it certainly helped me.
Well, people, see you on TV all the time now, and, to be on TV, one would think, man, you've got to be so confident, right? Like you got to be confident. You got to know who you are. You got to know what you got to be comfortable in your own skin kind of thing. Were you like that growing up? Like this confident girl who just knew what she wanted kind of thing?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh my gosh. I would say I still am. I would say people call it like an introverted extrovert,
right.
or I was very, very shy as a child. Remember in preschool, I don't remember too much as a kid, but I do remember my dad would wear these suits every single day to work, and walking into preschool in Swampscott, Massachusetts.
Swampscott. What a name.
And then hiding underneath his coattails because I was so shy.
Really? Okay.
I was trying to hide myself, and I do feel like I was shy. I wasn't one to participate in school, or raise my hand. I wasn't one to eagerly answer questions.
Yeah.
I think I was very unsure and lacked the confidence. So it's ironic that somebody who's so shy as a young child. I think my mom told me one day too, when I was in kindergarten, my teacher said, "Oh, she's going to be shy forever. They made an assumption, and I was also very whiny too, apparently."
Did you hear that from your teacher, that you would always be shy? Did you hear that as a kid?
I didn't. Well,
okay.
If I did, I don't remember.
Okay. Well, the reason why I asked that question, because a lot of times, you hear that from an authority figure like a teacher, you might think, oh, I guess that's just what I'm going to be. I'm going to be shy. You kind of believe it because you're just this young kid who doesn't know how to maybe process that. I was just curious if you had heard that or something, and if that played a part in kind of how you carried yourself.
Absolutely. I can't remember. I remember teachers saying I was quieter, and I still hear that to this day, even that I'm more reserved, more quiet, which it shouldn't really irk me because that's not a bad thing, but it does, because I feel like I should have this big personality, and a lot of my colleagues do. And sometimes it's hard to have the personality that I do alongside other people that might be a little bit more outgoing.
Yeah. No, I think people just assume, oh, you're on TV and you've got this personality on there, and that's just kind of how you carry yourself and everything that you do. But again, going back to what you learn in that, being competitive with that figure skating, the work ethic, like you mentioned, the persistence, the dedication, the discipline kind of stuff, and how that's played a role in what you're doing today. So, you mentioned that, you tried biology for a minute, and then you were like, you know what, this maybe isn't for me. And then you dipped your toe into journalism. Were you like, man, this is it? Did you know right off the bat, this is where I want to go now?
I was more certain that I was going down the right path, because this is something that I was more passionate about. I was better at writing than I was at doing math equations. So I felt like this was the way I wanted to go. However, I didn't know exactly, because I was in communications, just general.
Yeah, okay.
So I wasn't sure. I did participate. We had a TV station, so I did some of that, and some podcast-based classes as well.
Yeah.
So I knew that this was definitely more comfortable, something that which is not always the best, but it just felt like it was right for me. I guess I should say, not comfortable, but it felt like a better fit than math and science. So at some point, I think my roommate in college, she was going off to Georgetown to grad school, and I'm a little bit competitive, and I'm like, well, if she can go there, then, or if she can go off to grad school, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should do that too.
Yeah.
So I just decided to go into broadcast journalism, and that gave me a lot of great skills that I use today. Learning how to use a camera, editing my own reports, being in front of the camera. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I bet.
Expensive.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to get more into that, but I want to maybe segue just a little bit over to, you champion female empowerment. Talk about that and why that means so much to you, because I think, you being an only child even maybe plays a part in that, where you're like, you know what, I'm kind of, not that you were on your own, but you kind of were, in the sense of, is you got your older parents, right? And then it's you.
Yes.
It's almost like you had to figure out, you know what, I've got to figure things out on my own, per se. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And there's actually a lot of factors that went into my involvement with Women of Worth Utah. For those of you that don't, specifically for those of you who don't know about Women of Worth Utah, these women are out of crisis situations. Either they were in a polygamous relationship or, domestic violence related issues. Somebody close to them has passed away. They're dealing with grief. So they're out of a crisis situation, and they're trying to find their voice. They're trying to feel confident about themselves again. And that resonated with me, and I wanted to help other women feel better about themselves and be able to know that they're worthy of a better life. I was in an emotionally abusive relationship for a while, which at some point turned physical.
Okay.
And I remember I did a story on Women of Worth Utah, and I interviewed one woman who had been through something very similar to me, and I connected with her, and I truly felt for her.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm still healing as well. It made me realize that I wasn't fully healed from what I had just been through.
Right.
And I wanted to help other women, because sometimes stepping out of your own problems and helping others can help
for sure
you feel better and help others at the same time.
Yeah. So
I felt compelled to be part of that group, and I'm just so happy I took that chance. And I'm a mentor in Women of Worth Utah, and I don't really view myself as somebody who can mentor others, but just by being me, people have found value in who I am, which is great.
Absolutely. I have this belief that life happens for us, and meaning no matter what you go through, like you think about it, you are in a position to mentor, and people do listen to you because you've been through it. And it's unfortunate you had to go through that. I feel bad that you had to face that and go through that, but look what you're doing now, because you probably wouldn't be involved in this had you not gone through it, right?
No.
Right?
So there's certainly a silver lining. There's a reason for the struggle that you're going through. It'll somehow, some way make sense, and this makes sense. And I'm not grateful. I'm grateful for the journey where it's taken me, but it was a difficult part of my life as well. And I was also let go from a job at the same time.
Oh man!
Which is right before I moved to Utah. That's kind of how I ended up here.
Okay.
I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you.
No, it's good. This is all good.
Not bad.
No, and I appreciate you sharing this. That had to have been a difficult time. So how long ago was that when you came to Utah? It's been what?
About 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
So you haven't been here too long.
No,
right?
Not too long.
And it looks like, and again, you can confirm this, like things are really going in a good direction for you. I mean, you got a great job. Everyone seems to love you. You seem like things are going well. Is that a fair statement?
I would say that's a fair statement. It was a little bit of a struggle to assimilate to this new area for many reasons. A lot of them personal, but I think everything has started to run smoother, and I feel more at home here. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if I hadn't moved to Utah, I wouldn't be sitting with you here today, Todd, and I truly appreciate it. So I feel like things are going well and a lot better than 2 years ago.
Well, when you get on this show, you've hit the big time, right?
Can I start, I don't know, maybe I should ask for a raise at work or something like that?
Yeah,
I've been on
maybe.
cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, come on. I can help you. I'll give you a referral or a reference to that.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I'm just glad that you've made it out of that difficult time and you now are in a position to help other people. I really do believe this. I work with a lot of clients, as we were talking off before we started recording, that I work with a lot of clients who've been through some really horrific things, and to see them overcome them, but then they always end up doing something similar to what you're doing because of what they went through. And it just confirms to me again, like I said, life happens for us. I mean, I look at it this way. I had my first drink when I was 11 years old. And that led to, opening up an addiction in my life that led to some really bad things. But I'm grateful for it because it led to this moment. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be doing this had I not gone through that. And so here we are, right? It's just weird. It's almost like, it's just weird's the wrong word. It's more miraculous to me that, like, even the things you've been through led to this moment as well.
Yes. And our paths are,
right.
We're here today in this amazing space. And I can't believe it. And it does feel very, I want to reiterate though, I feel so grateful that you allowed me to come on here because it's never comfortable at least not comfortable for me to talk about myself. It really is tough because I don't think I'm that great. I don't think I'm like, sometimes I don't think I'm deserving of an opportunity like this.
Yeah.
But then you say to yourself, well, darn it, I've worked so hard. I've moved to 5 different states. Yes, I do deserve this. So you kind of like battle those two thoughts sometimes.
For sure. Yeah. And I think anyone listening to this would agree that they wrestle with those same kind of thoughts. Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I'm grateful that you're here. And I am impressed with just kind of the way you've, gotten to where you're at. You said you wanted to leave Massachusetts and you thought maybe it never happened, but then you end up moving all over the place, right?
Right. Oh my gosh. And 100 different stories to tell for each location I've lived in.
Yeah.
South Carolina, Arkansas, which I couldn't even identify on the map before I moved there, which was embarrassing. Geography was not my forte. It's my forte.
Yeah.
And Florida, and then Utah. Yeah. And then I worked in Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts for about a year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, so, you've been through some tough times, as you just mentioned. What does a day in a life look like for you? And do you carve out some time where you're working on like for your own mental health kind of stuff? I know you're big into fitness. I'd love to talk about that as well.
Absolutely. I do carve out time for fitness every single day because I think it's important to clear my mind and to move your body. There's something about de-stressing that way and just taking yourself out of the daily grind or just focused on the different screens, your cell phone, your desktop. It's good to remove yourself from that. So I do take time daily to work out, whether it is weightlifting. I love lifting weights.
Nice.
I don't lift heavy. I'm not like a 150 pounder free weight, but I love lifting free weights. I've done bar.
Nice.
Not go to the bar, but done bar. People know what that is.
Sure. Yeah.
And then, yoga, Pilates, dance, Zumba, everything. And I get a lot of joy in all of it, but I truly do enjoy lifting weights. That's great for me. And then I'll also carve out some time to paint. I'm not a great painter, but I love using it as sort of like a form of expression, more of an abstract artist.
Okay.
So I can paint my emotions.
Yeah. Wow.
So I like that.
And is it something you just kind of do for you, or is it stuff you try to present to other people, or do both?
I've presented it to people and they're like, ooh, what is that?
What is that?
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, abstract, right? It can be anything. Sometimes you wonder what was going through their mind.
Oh, yeah.
So it's mostly for me.
Yeah.
And
it's like a therapeutic thing for you. Yeah.
Yes. So I truly enjoy that and just being creative in my own way. Poetry is also a great way to express yourself, just writing things down. If you're feeling a certain emotion, sitting in it and writing it down, I feel like that's a productive way. Yeah. If you're feeling something very heavy or even something light and you want to figure out a way to convey the joy of that moment and encapsulate it in the written word, I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like to read, or do you like certain kind of genres that you read, or any particular things like that?
I was reading a self-help book. It's I don't want to. The title is a swear, so. It's on F-U-C-K.
Don't F your mind?
Yeah.
On F your mind?
On F your mind.
Yeah.
That one. We were just talking about profanity, and
yeah.
I don't feel comfortable. I mean, I will swear all the time, within reason, but I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But so I will. Self-help is great. I will read books that take my mind off reality, fiction books, Shadow of the Wind, which is one of my favorite books. It's a thriller.
Oh, nice.
And then usually things that are not news, I do like to keep up with news, but then it's good to compartmentalize news and tuck it away and then read something else. Or, even Us Weekly or like one of those rag magazines that has a bunch of celebrity gossip. That can be nice sometimes.
For sure. Yeah. Well, you mentioned you've reported on some really heavy stories as well, which could be hard to even deal with. And, and the news can be really at times really heavy to listen to, right? Mm-hmm. How do you handle that as you're reporting it?
That's a great question. I think it's important as a news anchor and reporter, it is good to feel the emotion of that story because it needs to come through in your delivery.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to
overdo it.
Have it take over because I feel like you can certainly be brought down by the stories, especially now with the war going on in Israel and then Ukraine and just a variety of different stories here locally where people have been hit and killed by vehicles. So it's been a very heavy news month, or a few past months. It's been pretty heavy. So I feel like not taking that on and being able to distance yourself in a way, not to be insensitive to it, but also to like protect and preserve your emotions. So there's kind of like a fine balance between feeling it and being able to show that you're a human and that you care and you're not a robot just reading the story, but also, being able to, but maybe like feeling it for that moment, but then letting it go and not letting yourself take it home with you at the end of the day and bring you down.
Yeah. And that's the challenge, right?
It can be.
Yeah. Cause I have to do the same thing when I'm dealing with clients. Like I do my best not to take it home with me.
Right.
Because sometimes it could just consume your thoughts and it weighs you down. And it's like, where are you? And it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to deal with this. But learning that, it's kind of almost like a skill you have to learn, honestly, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like an emotional, like bulletproof vest for emotions. You can't let it pierce through. It just is one of the most challenging things. That's a good point of being a news anchor, because people do ask me that a lot. How do you read about these horrific incidents? And that's why a lot of people tell me they don't watch the news because it's just bad news. Yeah. So I know as a reporter, it's nice to do lighter stories. And
Good Day Utah has a lot of positive and a lot of, right? You guys focus a lot of good things that are happening in Utah, obviously.
We try to.
Yes. Which is nice.
Yes. Yeah. I enjoy that aspect a lot. And, I don't feel like I've had the opportunity to do as much as I want because there is that negative aspect to news. But I think that it's important to always look for the good and to try to be looking for those positive stories.
Yeah. Do you get nervous when they're getting ready to go on air and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Are you nervous, or are you like, what, I've done this enough to where this is just a piece of cake for me?
I think I'm always a little bit nervous. Okay. More so when I'm in the field reporting, maybe on a breaking news situation.
Yeah, that would be, I can imagine.
It's also an adrenaline rush at the same time because you're trying to gather the information and you have a certain amount of time before you have to be on TV and be able to present it in a certain way that makes sense. Yeah. So I feel less nervous when I'm at the anchor desk because maybe it's because I have the teleprompter as a crutch. Yeah. But, in the field, there are a lot of factors that could derail you and make it more challenging. So I think I do feel more nervous in the field, and also it's dependent on the story as well.
Yeah, gotcha. So when you're not going to work, what other than the things you've mentioned is like when you take a day off, what are you typically doing? Is it just the exercise stuff and I mean
sleep?
Sleep, yeah, I can imagine. So let's talk about that. You get up at 2 a.m. So what time are you going to bed?
It's a great question. Far too late. 9:30, 10.
Oh, wow.
So I do myself a disservice by getting limited sleep.
Yeah.
But I did speak with a sleep specialist who said sleep 4-hour increments. So take a 4-hour nap after you get home from work, which will be at noon, and then sleep from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. I have a tough time sleeping. I don't do it. I just don't sleep 4 hours in the afternoon. I feel like I'm missing too much of life and valuable daylight. So, so I that is challenging to do that. But, during my time off, I feel like I've been trying to get to learn Utah and find unique things to do that might not be on the top 15 things to do in Utah, something that might be a little bit more niche, like tucked away. I think it was Allen Park. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
That was an interesting spot.
Yeah.
And very, very unique. It's hard to describe it to people who haven't been there. It just recently opened back in, I think, 2020.
Yeah,
because they had closed it for
not very long. Yep.
Yeah, but that was an interesting spot with poetry on different columns and on different rocks. It was very a unique experience. So I think it's cool. I mean, I'm not here from Utah, but I think it's very nice to be a tourist in your own state sometimes to reconnect with things.
Sure, yeah.
And because, different phases in your life, you can appreciate things differently. Yeah. So I think that's been a fun thing for me to do to try to at least allocate a few hours during the weekend to explore something that maybe I haven't seen before that might be interesting, that would open my mind to new things. Yeah. So I think taking some time during the weekend to recover from the week, but also to branch out and to find something that piques your interest.
Right. Gotcha. So do you have any like big plans down the road, like where obviously you're at Good Day Utah and you're doing great, loving it. Do you have like bigger aspirations even above and beyond that? Like even if it's outside of that, like is there anything that you have thought about, or are you just right now I'm kind of content where I'm at and everything's right where it needs to be?
I'm taking not everything is the way I want it to be. I'm happy with where I'm at. I think that I have a job that continues to challenge me, which I truly appreciate. I love my coworkers. They're great. What you see on TV is what you get in person. And that's kind of what sold me on this job in the first place, because they seem like great people, and they are.
Yeah.
But, I would like to continue helping in any way that I can the community, because I feel like giving back or even having some noticeable change in other people's lives through my reporting is why I do what I do. I mean, it's not to see myself on TV and to be like, oh, come and see how good I look, it's to give back. And I feel like whenever I'm wondering why I chose this wild profession, whenever I can make a noticeable change in people's lives with my reporting, it just, there's no other feeling like it, because I want to help in any way that I can. So if I could find a way to continue to help others, carve another path. I know Women of Worth Utah is great. If there's another thing that I could to help out with, I would love to continue to branch out. It's always the struggle of how many hours in a day do I have, but I would love to do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've always thought about, Good Morning America, or, some of those big national programs, Inside Edition, or, that would be cool. Yeah. But I feel like the most meaningful things are small to me, and changing somebody's life or helping them in some small way just means the world to me.
Sure.
It truly does.
And I would imagine, the people you're working with, because you guys are so close together and doing things, kind of becomes like a family, I would imagine.
They do. They do. And, sometimes I overshare to Dan Evans, who I work with, and he was like, all right, you can dial it back now. But, he's a good sport about it. He's great.
Yeah.
I work with, Carrie Kronk is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a really close relationship with both of them.
Oh,
they're sweet. And they've been just mainstay. They've been
Carrie's been there forever.
I think 30 years.
Yeah.
Today's her birthday, actually.
Oh, is
November
it?
8th. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carrie. Yeah.
But just, and I think that's a testament to the station too, having people that want to work there for that long.
Yeah.
So
that is amazing.
It is very nice to have that relationship, because there are a lot of egos, and there's always ego, but
sure.
Some of them can be out of control, and you don't want to you don't want to be around those people for too long. So
totally get it.
I do love that.
Yeah. If there's someone that's listening to you right now that wants to maybe get into journalism, do you have any advice that would be helpful for them if they're considering going into this field? Maybe especially women too, Yes.
It's a very difficult industry. I remember my professor tried to deter us from going into it in the first place. She told us we'd make $19,000 a year starting out, which really wasn't too far off from what I was making initially. The salary is a little bit of a deterrent. I think being a woman where I've worked as well has been a little bit of a problem as well. You can tell, especially in the South, sometimes sexism is alive and well.
Sure, yeah.
And I think you have to be an assertive, if you want to go into journalism, you have to have a thick skin. You have to be able to handle criticism well, or not let it derail you from your goal, because I've received a lot of criticism about how I look, from the length of my eyelashes to my lips, and can she put any more filler in them, or I don't blend my makeup well enough, just everything. They'll nitpick
anything.
Anything.
Yeah, that would be hard, right?
It is hard. It's difficult. And also being a woman and trying to, I don't want to make men seem bad or anything like this, but part of being a journalist is developing sources and getting that story that other people don't have. And I know that sometimes as a journalist that you try to have those sources with men, and sometimes they misinterpret that, and they think that you're interested in something else, and but you're just trying to be friendly. So that's a challenge that I've encountered quite a bit, that people misinterpret your friendliness, because you don't want to be, you don't build friendships or working relationships with somebody by being stiff. You have to be human.
For sure.
So I think being assertive and knowing how to be friendly but not too friendly.
Having some boundaries. Creating healthy boundaries.
Yes.
I deal with that a lot with my clients, teaching them how to set those healthy boundaries, because again, you're right. And I think it's everywhere, and it's probably, unfortunately, especially for women, where they do have to be extra cautious and extra careful. It's unfortunate at times, but again, I think I'm glad you're giving this advice for anyone who wants to go into this, because I like going back to what you said about having that thick skin. I can't imagine, especially with social media now, where it's so visible to everyone, right? Whereas maybe when that wasn't there, it probably wasn't as bad. But man, I can imagine comments that are made, or just they're out there to everyone to see. I can't even imagine.
Yes. I was talking about people not getting passports in this video that was posted to our website, and then somebody started to talk about how I looked. I'm like, I'm talking about passports.
Yeah, what do we?
What gives?
What does that have to do? Yeah. What does that have to do with anything?
I want to get a passport out of here because of your comments, but
right, get me out.
Yeah. So, but if you have a passion for it, don't let anybody get to you. Because it's your dream, and I feel like I've put some of my I've had a few bosses that have put me down, and I almost let it get to me to the point where I didn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then I said, you know what, that person's not going to dictate my future. I'm putting too much weight. I'm putting them in the front row.
Yeah.
I'm giving them too much space in my brain, and I'm letting them dictate the outcome of my life. And I'm capable of this, and I'm not going to listen to that. That's just one person's opinion who I don't value.
Sure. Which in the long run probably makes you stronger. And, even though it's hard to go through that sometimes, but again, going back to what we said earlier, life happens for us. And as hard as that can be at times, man, it sure does make you tougher and stronger.
It does.
And better for it, I guess, at the end, right?
Yes. You get a lot of practice too. You know, the disappointments, the ups and downs, it teaches you how to move through them a little bit easier. So I feel like I'm able to navigate. I know I've been let go from at least 2 jobs in the news business, not for anything that I did, wrong. There were sweeping layoffs company-wide because of the pandemic. And then the first station that I was working at, they were downsizing, and I was one of the first or the last in. So sometimes when you're the last in, you're the first out when they have to make cuts.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad that I've had those experiences, even though they were tough. I've gotten better at handling them over time. The first one was really tough, but then the second one, okay, I'm going to just fall upward, because that's usually what happens every time.
Yeah. Wow.
So
I love that.
that's been positive.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
If there's someone who's listening to you right now who might be going through a difficult time, maybe even something some of the same things you went through in that relationship you mentioned, they're just having a rough time, they're in a bad place. What advice could you give that one person right now who's listening to you?
I'm trying to go back to when I was struggling. I think that it's important to reach out to people that care about you.
Yeah.
And to connect with them and help you feel less isolated. It is that connection that helps you. Also, even though social media can be a little bit of a detriment to society, in a lot of ways, there are more people than ever speaking out and being vulnerable on social media.
Right.
And I feel like when I was in that emotionally abusive situation, I didn't realize it at first, because I hadn't been in a lot of relationships prior to that, and I was trying to make sense of that behavior. So I feel like going on social media and hearing from other people and hearing their stories helped me understand and validated my feelings as well. So I feel like social media can be used as a good resource to sort of understand or educate yourself what you're going through, and maybe make it make sense.
Yeah.
Because that helped me. It really was. I'm grateful to have my parents too. They have been a very good support. So that's friends, good. Parents.
Sure. Well, you're talking about that connection piece, and I couldn't agree more how powerful connection is, right? We're never more fully alive than when we're connected with someone. Mm-hmm. And especially in those dark moments, like you're mentioning, like it's so good to reach out, whether it's a parent or a friend or a coworker. And I couldn't agree more. I think that is where it's at. We that's when we need each other, right?
Right.
Because at times I'm sure people feel like they're alone and no one's going to get me and no one cares. But the truth is, there's a lot of people who care,
Yes.
And but sometimes we have to be brave and actually say something, that sometimes is the toughest part.
It is. And you feel so much better once you did reach out and connect. And I feel like even just going into connection too, this is I don't know how we're doing.
No, you're
time.
good. No, good. You're good. Just making sure we're recording.
Okay, perfect.
It's all good. No,
is this thing on? Yeah. I've noticed walking around, more so post-pandemic, but people don't make eye contact anymore. They don't communicate. Everybody is on their phone.
Yeah.
I feel like people have said this before, so I feel a little bit redundant with saying this, but I've made it a point of, even if I'm going to the grocery store and I'm checking out, I make a point to look people in the eyes and, say thank you, even as simple as that. Just having that connection or just asking somebody how they're doing, getting to know other people. I think it's important to reestablish that traditional way to communicate with people, something that we've lost. And it helps when I'm speaking to other people and trying to get to know them and how they're doing. It takes away the focus on myself, and I'm able to focus on somebody else and what they're doing.
Right.
So it helps you get out of your head, and it helps you connect with other people. And sometimes you can get to know some cool things about people that you don't even know.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think that's,
I love that.
That's great.
I love that. Very well said.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
I appreciate it.
No, it's been great to have you on, and I love that you're trying to make a difference, and especially helping empower women. I love that. I do. I have 3 girls of my own, and I want them to be empowered and strong and stand up for themselves. So I really want you to know how much I appreciate that you actually are out there doing that. It's an example to my own girls, and that means a lot.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I hope you know that.
Oh, thank you. That means so much.
Yeah.
And I truly love doing that, because sometimes when you don't have that women helping other women, or that hasn't been the case in the past with my career, unfortunately, that hasn't been.
Yeah.
My bosses who have been female have not been the most supportive. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I tell myself that's not what I want. I want to be there for other women. I want to cheer on their successes. If they're floundering, I want to help, because I feel like we're all here for a short period of time.
Right.
And why not be
true.
nice?
Right.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, I'm with you. Well, thank you so much, April, for your time today. We're cutting into your nap time, right?
I'm just going to hang out on this couch. It's pretty comfy.
You can
so thank you so much.
You can take a nap here. We can put on some soft music, but no, I know you're a busy person. You got a lot going on, and again, you've been up since 2 a.m. So to have you here live with me means a lot. I respect what you do. Fox 13 is lucky to have you, and my listeners are lucky to have your story now, or at least a portion of it, right? And but I do admire, looking back on your life and all the things you've done and accomplished has led you to all the good you're doing now, and it's just cool to see it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being so easy to talk to, and such a great interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to take some notes and bring those to my job, because I think you do such a great job.
Wow.
And thank you. It truly is. I can't even begin to express how amazing it is to be here. And thank you so much for asking me and for making me feel valued. I truly appreciate that.
You betcha. So you betcha. Well, it's good to get to know you better, and hopefully we can stay in touch and help support each other down the road and stuff. But thank you for being here. If someone wanted to reach out to you and learn more about what you do, or learn more about what you do on Fox, is there a way that someone could reach out to you that you'd be comfortable with?
They can reach me by email. Should I just lay it out there?
If that's okay.
Yeah, of course. It's April, April, like the month, .baker, Baker, B as in boy, at fox13now.com. And also you can find me on social media. April Baker TV is my Instagram handle, and X, formerly Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And then Facebook as well. So any way you want to reach me, carrier pigeon, smoke signal, I don't know. You can. I'm happy to chat with anybody if they have any questions.
Well, especially women listening to this right now, if you have questions about how to get involved with helping empower women, you'd be a good resource for that. So shoot you an email and ask you a question, and I'm sure you'll get around to it with your busy schedule eventually. And
I'll make it a priority for sure.
Priority,
I love that. Seriously, I welcome anything, and I'll be candid, or sometimes a little bit too much so, but I appreciate and welcome any questions.
Awesome. Well, again, great to have you here today.
Thank you, Todd.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Well, there you go, folks. I told you, another great interview, another great person, April Baker. She's amazing and doing good things out there in this world. Again, thank you for supporting this. Again, a shout out to my sponsors. I love you guys. And please share this with everyone you know. And that would be, really good help for us. And as always, I love you. And until next time, take care.